That's right, guys. We have another update from the NCIX PC Lab. So this is the Vesta i7 5050, and what we've aimed to do with this particular system is create a flexible platform where users can, for the same price, either choose a GeForce solution, which is what we have running on the bench right now, or a Radeon solution. So it's going to be available in a couple of different configurations that are going to be priced exactly the same. So basically you're going to get all of this configuration plus either graphics card. So it has a Core i7 960, so with the recent price drop on the 960, you can now get a 960 at 3.2 gigahertz for the same price as the 950. I mean, even though both CPUs have been out in the market for a similar time, the 950 is not going to drop any further. It's just going to pretty much be phased out, and the 960 is going to be a replacement, so you get a little bit more value for your dollar that way. We're going to be using a Cool-It Eco liquid cooling kit once we get it installed in the real case, which is going to be an NCIX Phantom White right there. So we're going to have liquid cooling on that CPU, so if you wanted to do some overclocking once you get your system, then be our guest. We're going to be using Mushkin Enhanced Silverline memory. So this is DDR3 1333, very low voltage kit, only a 1.5 volt kit. So you're going to be able to have overclocking headroom on that as well. The system is all about overclocking. You can see right here we've got an Asus Sabertooth Tough Series motherboard. Once again, all about overclocking. Now, speaking of overclocking, we're using a very high quality power supply, which is one of the things that is necessary for pushing a system past its regular limit. So it's a Seasonic 620 watt. And as you can see from our power meter here, the absolute maximum power draw we've managed to achieve with this system from the wall is 391 watts. So since this is an 80 plus bronze power supply, that means that we're looking at about 65-ish watts, maybe about 70 watts less than this in terms of actual power draw from the power supply itself. So only about 330 watts, which means you should have plenty of overhead even to add an additional graphics card if you want, and the power supply will operate quite silently. So you can see here we're running Lost Planet 2, very demanding DirectX 11 title. We've scored a rank of A in the Test B benchmark, and let me just show you guys what settings we are actually running all of this at. So I'm going to show you the settings. Crazy Russian says he's got it maxed out at 1280 by 720. What the deuce? Okay, so Crazy Russian hardcore failed, running it at the wrong resolution. You can see we're running the benchmark again now at 1920 by 1200, which would be a proper PC gaming resolution, not 1280 by 720. Okay, so anyway, let's keep talking about the config while this runs, and we'll show you the overall score at the end. So we're going to be shipping this configuration with a 60 gig OCZ Vertex 2 SSD, as well as a WD Green 1 terabyte drive for storage. Now, I realize we're not running off the SSD right now, but there's a very good reason for that, which I'm not going to get too far into. Basically, Crazy Russian didn't bother to install the OS on the SSD, so that's okay. We're running our benchmarks without it. What else do we got here? Oh yeah, if you guys want to check out the relative performance of these two cards on a like test platform, you can check out my video review actually of the GTX 560 Ti, where I cover these two cards as well as the 560 Ti in a variety of modern games. I think when we left off we were just going to talk about the performance, so why don't we actually hold off on filming until this is done, and we'll show you guys how this setup performs in the demanding, ever-demanding Lost Planet 2 DirectX 11 game. Alright, so there we go. We ranked B, which means that the game is very playable. Okay, so we rarely dip below the 45 frames per second range here. Actually, you can see the average is about 45 FPS. So as long as you don't go below 30, it's going to be delivering a very playable experience, and this is without any overclocking on any of these parts. So the system's going to ship for $1499.99, and I'll do an update for you guys with the Radeon card versus the GeForce card at the equivalent price points once we've got the system fully configured and properly built within the NCIX Phantom case. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Linus Tech Tips.